Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where the bar is no temple, but the drinks are free, because you provide them yourself. And tonight, we'll get our kicks above the waistline as we revisit a famous 80s tune and the musical it came from. The song is One Night in Bangkok, and the musical is Chess. And since we're talking about a musical, we welcome back to the program returning subject matter expert Sir Torrin Clegane. So top off your drinks and strap in. The Canarble Wagon rolls right now. Salud and welcome. So glad that you decided to join us again tonight for Last Call. And we are going to be talking about chess. And yes, I also mean the game. I mean the musical. And, of course, the songs from the musical. At first glance, the game of chess is simple. 16 pieces, side by side, on a board of 64 black and white spaces. But when players are truly exceptional, and I'm not one of those kind of exceptional players, and they are no longer playing, they transcend the simplicity of the game, and it becomes a war between two opposing factions. But instead of a war fought with guns and manpower, it's fought with skill, perspicacity, and strategy. Chess becomes a cerebral war in the pursuit of intellectual dominance. So what happens when the chessboard transcends into reality and the players are the world's two leading superpowers? The answer to this question is closely related to what happens when the lyricist most closely associated with Andrew Lloyd Webber and the two guys from ABBA come together to create a musical about that superpower-backed battle on the chessboard. It becomes a commentary on Reagan-era politics. And now I've totally oversimplified things. Let me introduce the Last Call gang for tonight, and we'll get a bit more analytical later, starting with my beautiful bouncer, Netter of Netter's Network. How you doing, sweetie, and what are you sipping on?
I am doing wonderfully. It is Friday. It's the end of the week.
Yes.
I could put work behind me, which is nice because work has been work.
It was brutal for me today, too. Brutal day.
It's been brutal for me all week, so bleh. And then my boss was off today, so it means I got to take on things that she would normally do, so yay. But other than that, I am sipping on a sparkling water. It's Fuji apple.
Yep.
I'm really beginning to really like this water that I can get from Walmart. It tastes like a crisp apple.
Yep.
I love this water.
It's hydrating. It keeps the headaches away. It fills you up.
And you know what's the best part of right now? Well, I'm with you and all of our friends here.
You are so sweet.
Or I should say, our family, because that's what they are.
Yes, absolutely. Speaking of which, someone who's kind of gotten to be like a brother to me.
What?
Aged Boomer, how you doing, my friend? And what you sipping on, buddy?
Just got a water tonight.
That's good. That's good.
So I can have cerebral fitness.
Grips you more than would a muddy river or reclining Buddha, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Something like that. Can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
Can I relate to a little chess story of mine?
Yeah.
There's this chess game for the PlayStation 1, right? The original PlayStation. And you get different opponents. I go on easy level, and it's this little red-haired girl. Okay, so I'm playing against her, and I lose. And then she says, "You're not very good." And I play against her, and she says, "You're not." I lose again. "You're not very good." And I start screaming at the screen. I'm like, "Why is it every time I lose? Why can't you just say something nice for once?" It's annoying.
That's funny.
I'm getting insulted by this 6-year-old.
I'll tell you what, getting insulted by video games is kind of what spurs you on, I think. That's absolutely... I'll tell some chess stories later on, too, but I was on the chess team in high school, and we joked about we may just turn it into a full contact sport. That's how it got sometimes. It was just, yeah. And let us bring in our subject matter expert. Just about every time I talk about a Broadway musical, this is the first person that I think of to invite on. That's Sir Torrin Clegane. Sir Torrin, how are you doing, my friend, and what are you sipping on?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. Not really sipping on anything.
Okay.
Setup doesn't really leave a drink open.
Well, if I see your mic go mute, I will assume that it means you got thirsty. You had to go fill yourself up and get some. I, of course, am having a Jameson Irish whiskey.
4 fingers.
Four Netter fingers, which is like 3.5 Troy fingers, but that's and it's good, and it's good. The frost has just kind of come away from the glass. I was showing the guys in the backdrop when the stream started. This was all white with frost because I keep my glass and whiskey stones in the freezer, along with the Jameson. It's as cold as you can get it, so that's the way I like it. Let me screw.
We all had the same idea.
Let me.
Now I think we have to do Saturday Night Fever at some point, but yeah.
We absolutely will. But we'll be talking about some 70s era stuff tonight because we're talking about the Cold War era, right?
Right.
We're starting off with the first name I'm seeing is Benny Andersson. No, I'm sorry, Dee Pensack, who's talking about Benny and Bjorn. Musical was an eye-opener. The concept album was superb. Don't mess with the Arbiter. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you've actually seen the play, David. Interesting. Man, maybe I should have had you on. Because literally no one on the panel here. Is that still true today? No one on the panel yet has seen this play.
Nope.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you can
I
add
have
him
not.
then. And he could add in his 2 cents.
Yeah, I mean, let me know, David, if you're interested. I could send you the link if you want to jump in. But let me get really quick. Let me make sure I make everyone feel welcome tonight. Tim Hayes is next. One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. That's right. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free. Absolutely. A PJ of Orville Nation. Hey, Troy, Netter, and friends. Hand pink wave. Oh, he must be putting in an emoji. See, I'm in StreamYard, so I'm not seeing that. And let's see. Big Al, I can feel the devil walking next to me. Well, I'm sorry. I'd really rather an angel sliding up next to you, but yeah.
You mean your wife?
Yes. Hi, Netter.
I try.
Deleted Seeds dropping all the links. He's working the crowd. Thank you so much. Our Maître D, whose permalink in every stream is down below, just like everybody here is linked below. Please make sure you subscribe and make people feel encouraged and welcomed. And Boosh McFadden, you spelled my name wrong, Netter. Oops. We will have that. It was probably me. I make her thumbnails for her, so I probably screwed it up. I'll get that fixed, man. And Netter. Yes, you're here, and I've said hi to you already in person. And why is this not advancing? Whoa, it just jumped. Okay.
See, that's what
Hold on a second. Saying hi to each other. Of course, Evelyn Hampton. Good evening, everybody. Good to see you there, Evelyn. Thank you for joining us. That Age of Boomer guy, he's always around here somewhere.
What?
Lurking. He's always lurking, that guy.
I'm the lurker.
Hey everyone, can't stick around. Oh, this is Gorilla Random Thoughts. I can't stick around, but I'll watch this in the morning. But wanted to say hi. P.S. I'm feeling better today. Yeah, Gorilla Random Thoughts was struggling yesterday because he's near a bunch of the brush fires up there in Canada, and he was struggling with his eyes burning and the air quality. So everything cleared up, and it's a beautiful day. Good. Matanui, hi. Good to see you there, my friend. Always good to see you, of course. And I guess Orville Nation was away from the keyboard, so he didn't hear us say hi to him, maybe. I don't know, possibly. And, of course, Lady Mist. Now, Lady Mist's icons come up. I see the little flowers that she puts up. So, I don't know. Some people put up different kinds of emojis that some you can see in StreamYard and some you can't, and I don't really understand how it works. Because I'm as big a boomer as Age of Boomer. Actually bigger, because I'm older. And
not by much.
Ooh, Evelyn Hampton. Evelyn Hampton doesn't drink, and she is having a peach Moscato wine. That's hard stuff for her. Take it easy there, Admiral. I know how it can hit you. Well, but you're home. You can do whatever you want. Let's see. Have I missed anybody?
Yes, you have.
Pacific 414. Good evening. Good evening.
We have a new person in the chat. The chairman.
Oh, welcome, the chairman. Good to see you. Okay, yeah. I didn't see where the comment was, but I did see people saying hi to him, so good. Oh, there you are. Yeah, hi, Netter. There you go.
And, of course, Connie Cleary. How you doing, sweetie?
Why isn't it scrolling all the way down for me? Okay, there we go. Hi, Connie. Good to see you. And I guess you got a new sub there from the chairman. Good. All right, I think that we're all there, and by all means, folks, if I missed you, don't feel slighted. It just means I was, well into my Jameson, and I was scrolling through quickly. So just drop another comment, say hi, just to make sure that I'm aware you're here, because it makes me feel good to see you in there. And of course, let me know what you're sipping on. So yeah. So where was I? Okay, yeah. So let's first talk about the game of chess, just to lay the groundwork, okay? So the musical that we're going to be discussing starts with the character named Gregor Vassi, and I pronounce that very American, Gregor Vassi, a Hungarian revolutionary in 1956, and he's explaining to his 4-year-old daughter Florence, who becomes important later in the play, the history of chess before the two are separated in the midst of a violent rebellion in Budapest. And this is how he describes it. Every game of chess means there's one less variation left to be played. And I'm not going to sing the whole thing, but I'm going to go through the whole thing. Every day got through means 1 or 2 less mistakes remain to be made. Not much is known of early days of chess beyond a fairly vague report that 1,500 years ago 2 princes fought, though brothers, for a Hindu throne. Their mother cried, for no one really likes their offspring fighting to the death. She begged them to stop the slaughter with her every breath, but sure enough, one brother died. Sad beyond belief, she told the winning son, "You have caused such grief. I cannot forgive this evil thing you have done." He tried to explain how things had really been, but he tried in vain. No words of his would satisfy the queen, and so he asked the wisest men he knew the way to lessen her distress. They told him he'd be pretty certain to impress by using model soldiers on a checkered board to show it was his brother's fault. Thus, they invented chess. Now, I suspect that's a little bit apocryphal, but chess did begin in India, and it slowly moved northwest and eventually, made it to Europe, and it was in the Caliphate that they I don't remember what the names for the pieces were, but they didn't have a female playing the game. There was no queen. She was an advisor character, like a vizier. And when it came to England, they said, no, let's romanticize it with the king and the queen is the the advisor, which is kind of progressive when you think about it, because the queen is the arguably most powerful piece on the board, and the king is the flag that you're trying to capture, and he's not very powerful at all. 1 space, 2 space, 3 space. So, but yeah, that's kind of how chess goes. So now,
and the horsey guy goes in an L direction.
Yes, exactly. and so I guess at this point, what I want to do is I want to go around the the panel and kind of find out what is everybody's experience with the game of chess. I'm going to start with Netter.
I'm not real good at it. My brother taught me how to play when I was, I don't know, somewhere between 9 and 11 years old.
Okay.
On the beach in the sand. He actually just drew a chessboard, had some pieces, and he was showing me how to play. I was so bad he beat me in 3 moves.
That's, you see, there's a name for that. It's called Fool's Mate. Not calling you a fool, but that's literally what that particular maneuver is called.
I'm just like really bad at it. I think now I can go to about 6 moves before getting, totally beat.
To be fair, that's happened to me too, though. I've succumbed to Fool's Mate.
And I can never remember the names of all the little pieces. There's the little horsies and the castles and the and the pawns. It's like I know there's rooks?
Yes.
Bishops, pawns, queen, king. Am I missing anybody?
I'm just caught up on the word rook. It got me thinking about Disney, how they rook their guests and cook.
Oh, don't even go there. Don't even go there. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the first rank, of course, is all the pawns. Okay, then you have two rooks or castles, as you wish, 2 knights, 2 bishops, a king, and a queen. And of course, the king is the in this little game of capture the flag. That is the piece that you are trying to prevent from being captured, and every other piece can be sacrificed. So did you play it much beyond that? Did you just play with your brother, or did you continue to play?
No, it's like he showed me like once or twice how to play, and we never really got into where he was like teaching me. Yeah. Because I think I would have liked to have learned it, but there's a 10-year difference between me and my brother. So obviously he had other interests that didn't include his. His very young sister. Well,
and the fact is, we could play chess, but the fact is, we also have other interests if we're gonna play.
We don't talk about those. Shh.
Well, people should just assume. Real quick, I want to welcome Courtney, Fellowship of Oddballs, to the stream. It's been a long time, girl. We've missed you. Hope you're feeling well. I'd love to.
By the way, I just got it when Bush said I spelled their name wrong.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I said hello to you is the love of my life, and right underneath that was the
comment. Gotcha. Yeah.
Dude, I'm scrolling back. Going, how did I spell their name wrong?
Yeah, Zoom. Like, I missed that one. I completely missed that one. Fair enough. Good on you, mate. That was a good joke. Okay. Boomer, played chess. Tell me about it.
Okay. Well, my first experience with chess was watching. I think my dad played Battle Chess on the computer. Remember Battle Chess?
Was this like on the Commodore?
It might have been, yeah, and it was also on IBM.
I had that. I loved it.
The characters would come to life and start attacking it. In fact, when the knights attacked each other, it was like out of Monty Python and the Holy Grail, where they would cut the arms and legs off. And
let me ask you: was this same rules as chess? So, yes. I mean, if a pawn took a bishop,
yes,
it wasn't like you got a chance to win.
Because they were just animations. It wasn't like you went into battle yourself and with a controller or anything like that. No,
I've seen that.
But there would be animations, and each animation was different. A pawn taking out a bishop taking out, and you get these little animations that were funny to watch, and great little fun game. I didn't play chess myself, though, till high school. I think there was one day, I think I was new at school, and there was a club hour or something, or like a club day or something, and like I didn't have anything to do, so I went by the gaming place and I learned how to play chess. And after that, I got one of those little magnetic chess boards with little magnetic pieces, so I used that to play with classmates. Never got very good at it, though. I really loved the PC game, though, Chess Master, which was...
Yes.
I don't know if they still make it. It was brilliant because you could play.
They've been successively. They keep updating it. Yeah. So I had it. So Courtney is pointing out. I got discouraged as a kid because my brother always won, but she remembers that Commodore game. So it was a Commodore game. I did not play that particular one, but I had seen it. I thought it was pretty cool. The one I was referring to that was Battle Chess was a game called Archon. Do you know that game?
That I do know. That might be a. Did we do that on good old days? I think
we might
did.
have done.
Archon was brilliant. It was inspired by chess, but of course you got to use your controller and attack things.
Right. So that's why I asked. In Archon, when you would take a piece, it wasn't a foregone conclusion.
No.
You were entering into battle, and that other piece had the opportunity to fight back. So it was a two-pronged kind of battle. Game. Yeah.
I wish that would get re-released on something new. You know.
But I did have the Commodore. I think it was on the Commodore. Well, I had the 128, but it was basically the same system. I had that that version of Chess Master.
Oh, no, Chess Master. Okay. Yeah, and what I liked about those, and you could buy them for cheap. Like what you would do is you would wait for the new version to come out and then buy last year's edition.
Yeah,
it would be like nothing. And it was cool because they'd have like you play with classical music. There would be all sorts of classical music tracks you could listen to while playing it. You could reenact famous games. I think that was a thing on there. Where you could
that was what I did the most actually. You could play as if you were playing against a certain player, but I would just start famous games playing so I could, learn,
You can change the way the pieces look too.
Sorry, I did try electronic chess, one of those games, where you're playing against a computer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it would always yell at me because I would try to make a move, and it's
you
like,
can't do
that.
You can't do
that. It's like, but the horsey can make an L shape. Why aren't you letting me do the L shape?
Wrong L. Yeah, exactly. So Torin, chess player?
No. It was interesting. I've never actually never played the game, but when I was in college, in the student center there was this gorgeous chessboard.
Oh yeah.
It was in in the rec room. So I walked up to him and I'd stare at the pieces while I was watching the TV.
Yeah.
And a friend asked if I wanted to play, and he was trying to teach me as we were playing, and he destroyed me.
Yeah,
but
of course.
What I found out recently was, and again, he always finds a way to surprise me. My dad actually plays chess, or played it when he was younger, because during Easter, he was down in the basement of the house with my nephew, and we have this chess board. It's got this, it looks like the chessboard actually looks like a towel, and there's these big pieces that you put on top of them, and he was showing him how to play the game.
Sure.
So when I saw that, I went, I did not know he played chess.
Yeah.
Of course, I didn't know he played tennis either, but you learn new things.
That's fair. Yeah, no, you find out all kinds of crazy things about your parents. You find out that they're not virgins too. That's a freaky thing to find out about your parents.
Well, children are hereditary. If your parents didn't have any, chances are you won't either.
That's what I've heard. Yeah, that's true. But you know what? I'm not a biologist, so I don't know. You never know these days. I think science is based on people's feelings these days. So anyway, yeah. Let me tell you real quick why chess is so important to me. And ergo, why I care so much about this, for most people, fairly obscure musical. So I learned how to play chess. I want to say I was in grade school. Not sure exactly how old. I used to spend my summers in Ohio. My uncle owned a marina. I think a lot of my regulars have heard me talk about that before. And the people that would come in, they had their boats docked at the pier and whatnot, and they'd come to the lunch counter and they'd hang out and they'd chit chat and whatnot before they, would go out fishing or whatever they were going to do for the day. And so I'd get to know them and chat with them at the lunch counter and whatnot. And there's this one bloke, I can't remember his name. He didn't actually have a boat. He actually was camping at the campgrounds on the other side of the park. And he'd come in every day for lunch and coffee. And he'd sit and drink coffee like for hours. So we'd sit and chat. And he was there playing chess one day. And I was watching, and he said, "Do you want to play?" I'm like, "I can't. I don't know how." He goes, "Oh, I'll show you." And I don't remember him being terribly brutal about showing me. But so the board that we were playing, it was just your regular, cardboard, chess board. But the pieces were these marble things. They were carved in kind of like they looked like they might have been Aztec, or Mayan or something. And I've seen these all over the place, so it's not like this is something that was particularly rare or anything like that. But they were real marble. They were really well. Okay, I said they were marble, but they could have been quartz. Don't know. But I played with them every day for weeks. And I started, or at least he said, I was starting to get good. I was actually beating him. I thought he might have been throwing the game, but everybody said no. They thought I was really beating him. So anyway, he gave me the chess set at the end of the summer.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, which was neat because the only other chess set that I knew of, my dad had this plastic Roman set. Very nice. It was in this nice box, kept it under the bed. I was not allowed to touch it. So I'm like, screw it. I got mine, So that's where my love of chess started. Joined the chess club when I went into high school. That's where I met my buddy Otto, who I've probably mentioned a bunch of times. Every time I talk about D&D or politics, or he's the one that I told the story. He ran for, he was a class ahead of me. So he was running for class treasurer, and he was giving his speech, his vote for me for class treasurer. And he gives this whole great speech about all the things he's planning to do. And at the very end of his speech, he says, so in closing, I'd like to say, please vote for me for class president. Thank you very much. And he goes to sit down. He's halfway to his seat, and the girl that's running for class president runs up to him. And he runs back to the podium. He goes, oh, I'm sorry. No. Vote for me for treasurer. I want your money. He won by a landslide.
I was also convinced for about 20 years that Otto didn't really exist because every time we were supposed to meet up with Otto,
he's good people, but super flaky.
It's like, plans would be canceled. It's like, this guy doesn't exist. You're just making him up.
Yeah. Oh, she finally met him. But yeah, he was president of the chess team, and that's actually where we met was in chess, and he and I through chess we started playing Dungeons and Dragons with some other guys in the group, and that was cool. But it was really more the chess thing that we were friends about. Heck, if I could get in touch with him again, I should get him on the show, because the stories we could tell would be a lot of fun. I'd be talking about Pink Floyd and how we got together and watched The Wall for the first time. And but anyway, so chess team in high school. Focus, Troy. Frickin' focus. Okay. So we would go and we'd play different high schools and whatnot. And one year we were going to the state meet, the Illinois state meet. First time driven down to Southern Illinois to compete in anything, and I thought this was pretty cool. I was sixth board, so I'm way down at the end. I wasn't that good compared to some of the others. Okay, so this was my sophomore year in high school, right? And so after every game, right, you would then go, they'd post, and we're talking like physical pieces of paper on a bulletin board. This was before they had like computerized stuff. So I'd go up and I'd look to see what my ranking was. And at one point I had done so poorly that my ranking was really near the bottom. Not the last place, but really close. And they had misspelled my name. Instead of Troy Pacelli, they had Tony Pacelli.
Actually, would have been.
No, it was. I put my name down as Pacelli at the time, and I'm like, oh, they misspelled my name. And the teacher who was the sponsor for our group was like, oh, well, that's not cool. I'll go tell him to fix it. I'm like, no, hell no. I'm in second to last place. I want to be able to say, who the hell is this Tony Pacelli guy? He sucks. You know, he makes us all Italians look bad. Fuck that shit. No, don't do that. But yeah, so I share this because this whole idea of competition and chess and whatnot, I kind of get it, you know, and that's kind of important to the story. But now I got to change gears on you. We need to talk a little bit about the Cold War. We got to talk about some politics things. So if you're having an adult beverage, maybe, you know, refill. That'll make this go a lot smoother. Those of you drinking water and you teetotalers, well, va salud, good luck to you. So the U.S. and the Soviet Union had been allies during World War II. However, there'd always been a level of unease between the two nations that spawned from the vastly different political philosophies, democracy and communism. Don't start about I don't want to hear how real communism has never been tried. Screw that. Okay, don't even start with me. Don't even start. Don't even start with me on that. Okay, so anyway, once the war was finished, the Soviet Union slowly receded from the other European allies behind the Iron Curtain, a political boundary separating East Germany and West Germany. That'll become important later. This was a move that effectively sealed the Soviet Union off from the outside world by drawing a literal and metaphorical line in the sand of East and West. And to make matters worse, potential nuclear destruction was waiting in the wings. For much of the 40s, the U.S. held a monopoly on the creation of weapons of mass destruction, but going into the 50s, the Soviet Union shocked the world by detonating their first nuclear bomb. The rules changed instantly, and the conflict between the two countries reached fearful levels. And yet, through all the hysteria, neither country fired a single warhead. Unlike every other historical war, the Cold War was never fought on a battlefield. It was a war of strategy and who had the bigger brain. Hint: neither one's brain was very big, but we'll talk about that in another stream. In 1972, the Cold War found its new battleground, the chessboard. Due to the Soviet Union having strained relations with China on one side and the U.S. stuck in Vietnam on the other, the 1970s saw a détente between the U.S. and Russia. We weren't exactly ready to be friends, but we did manage to interact on more diplomatic terms. In the 1980s, Ronald Reagan... Everyone okay there? Okay. In the 80s, Ronald Reagan, a staunch anti-communist, was elected president in a landslide. This, side note, this had more to do with who he was running against than anything else, but that's a story for another time. This again strained the relations with the USSR and was sometimes called the Second Cold War. And it was at this time that the musical chess began. Since the mid-70s, Tim Rice had wanted to adapt a musical focused on the Cold War. Initially, get this, he planned to partner with Andrew Lloyd Webber to write about the Cuban Missile Crisis. I can't even imagine what that would have been like, but luckily we'll never have to know because Rice decided to switch focus to another series of high-profile confrontations during the Cold War, which carried potentially the most gravity while also being one of the most modest when it came to national pastimes. In the 1970s, it was well known that the Soviets were unstoppable at chess, especially after they defeated the entire world. Their dominance could be linked to their culture. While Americans prided themselves on individualism, the Soviets never placed one above the other, so they often played as a team, while the Americans would go it alone. And the Soviet strategy kind of worked. They were ruthless and kept a stranglehold on the world, in terms of chess, that is, for nearly 24 years. That is until an American chess prodigy named Bobby Fischer came into the picture. I could dedicate a whole show to him, but suffice to say that in what would go down in history as the match of the century, Fischer challenged Soviet champion Boris Spassky, and this showdown in Iceland was the U.S.'s chance to stick it to the USSR and beating them at their own game, literally. So, here's what I know about the play, at least the development of the play. The drama and political manipulation behind the match spoke to Rice, and he pitched the idea to Benny and Bjorn from ABBA, the Swedish group. We could actually do a whole show about them too. Boomer, let's put down ABBA for the good old days one day.
Yes, ABBA.
Yeah. The main characters in chess draw heavily on real players in the 1970s chess world. You know, America. The American would be named Freddie Trumper. He was unambiguously based on Bobby Fischer in his youth, abrasive, and in open contempt of the Soviets. The Russian character, Anatoly, I forget his last name, Sergeyevsky, something like that. I'm going to refer to him as Anatoly throughout this because that's how I remember him. Drew on multiple Soviet players. Fischer's match of the century opponent, Boris Spassky, who won the world championship in 1975 after Fischer forfeited by refusing to accept the terms of the match. Again, I could do a whole show just about Bobby Fischer, and we'll get back to that point later. And Viktor Kovsky, who defected from the USSR in 1976, leaving his wife and child behind. You'll see where the connection comes. So in this match of the century, the Soviet and American government were both fighting to affirm their intellectual dominance through Fischer and Spassky. The musical would take this dichotomy one step further by using the chess grandmasters as a way of exemplifying the combating ideologies and lifestyles of the two countries. Freddie Trumper embodied the excessive materialism and braggadocio associated with Reagan-era America. And Anatoly, meanwhile, embodied the cracks that were beginning to show in the USSR's culture. His arc is focused on the conflict between his commitments to others, namely his country, and Svetlana, his wife, not to be confused with Critical Drinker's Svetlana, versus pursuing his own desires. The pressure from his Soviet supervisors, duty to a wife he'd fallen out of love with, and his feelings for Florence. That's Freddie's second, all weigh on him. So, yeah, love triangle plays into this whole story, too. And that brings us to Freddie's big main solo, which kind of introduces him and his character, and that's called One Night in Bangkok. One Night in Bangkok was the release song, if you will, from this libretto. I'm struggling to think of another musical that has a big release. Actually, Sir Torin, help me out here. Give me an example of a Broadway musical that had a big release that people would have seen on the pop charts. I got one. I just thought of one. The Impossible Dream from The Man of La Mancha.
That is one. Memory.
Fan of the Opera, right?
No, Memory. Cats.
Les Mis, Cats. Never mind.
Just
I'll just run through that.
Don't go back to your water, man. You're drunk.
Man.
That's okay, Boomer. That's why we have Sir Torin here. No, absolutely.
Send in the Clowns.
Which one?
Send in the Clowns.
That was from a musical?
Yes. A Little Night Music.
Was it originally released in German?
No, it was.
I'm making a joke. Ein klein Nachtmusik. I get drunk. I start making jokes in German. What can I tell you? I didn't know that was from a musical. That makes sense, though. Yeah. There you go. So okay. So this is, but this was far more common in the '80s with the pop soundtracks that we had from the movies that were coming out at the time. So it wasn't that big a stretch, but because I don't think most of, middle America was really into musicals at the time, I think the fact that One Night in Bangkok was released and became popular, I think most people didn't even realize it was from something. They just heard it as a pop song that they liked, and that was it. But yeah, this was the big release. So this one I want to stop and talk about. So Boomer, what was your experience with this song?
Okay, so One Night in Bangkok. This was, of course, made the rounds on TV. I think particular MTV, I believe, back in the day. Correct?
Yes, it had. Because it was a release song in the 80s.
Yeah.
Of course, it had, the whole video thing and whatnot. And that's an important point. And maybe, Sir Torin, you might have some insight on this beyond what I never really understood what was going on with the whole music video thing. But it seemed to be around this time that they were doing music videos for the releases. Excuse me, not releases, because I'm not talking about songs that we saw or heard on the radio, but like there was videos that were done on MTV for like the main songs from like Phantom of the Opera, and it was Michael Crawford and Sarah Brightman, and they were in character with the sets and everything, and they were very, very polished. I mean, it wasn't like someone just, was filming a stage production. It was good stuff. Same thing here for One Night in Bangkok. It was Murray Head.
Yeah.
Who I believe played him in West End. Is that correct, Sir Torin?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Murray Head was playing the role in West End when it was, because it was released the year before in England. Before it came over here, and we'll talk a little bit more about there being big differences between the UK and
Isn't he
US
related
relations.
to Anthony Stewart?
He is. So those of you that are
Buffy fans?
Well, I was going to say Folgers fans, but yes, Buffy
Taster's
fans too.
Choice.
Oh, was it Taster's Choice? Yeah, I don't drink coffee, so I don't know. But, no, I do drink. I do drink coffee on special occasions. Black is Midnight on a Muslim side, yeah. So no, yeah, he was the Taster's Choice guy, who had a little bit of an ongoing soap opera in his commercials. But that's not where most of the younger audience would remember him from. They would remember him as Giles from Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah.
Yes, this was his brother. Both of them very musically talented. If you joined us for Netter's rewatch of the Buffy musical, or certainly if you've ever seen the Buffy musical, you got to hear Anthony Stewart Head singing, and his brother is every bit as talented. And that was him singing One Night in Bangkok back in the 80s. Sorry, Boomer, I took it away from you. Back to you.
No, that's all right. So let's talk about this video. Starts out, you see this chessboard, and it almost starts disassembling itself. And granted, looking at it now, it wouldn't be that amazing. Probably back then, it was a big deal to see this happen. And
it's pretty cool.
Then it kind of goes into one of the places on the board, and then outside, and then suddenly you see, I think it goes into the eye of this Thai woman, right? And you're watching this and you're hearing all this musical fanfare, like adventure. It's like this, and then you see they're on a boat, and out of this door comes this gentleman dressed to the nines in a white suit, and I'm thinking it's like Bogart out of Casablanca.
Yeah. Actually, I think that was intentional. You're right.
Yes, and he comes out, and then suddenly he starts rapping.
kind of.
Bangkok, or sort of rap, I guess. Bangkok.
It kind of was.
Yes.
Yeah. You want me to? Because I know
right
it right off the top of my head. Bangkok, Oriental setting, and the city don't know what the city is getting. I'm sorry, I am fuzzy because of the drink.
The creme de la creme.
Of the chess world in a show with everything but Yul Brynner. That's... Okay, so let's break that down a little bit, okay? So we got Freddie going to Bangkok, and who the hell does he think he is? This is the American looking down his nose at these provincial people, right? And he's like, "You're welcome. The Americans here, you slobs." And when he thinks Bangkok, what does he think? He thinks Yul Brynner from The King and I, Siam,
which is not a popular play or story in Thailand. If you,
I would imagine it's not.
I've met Thai people; they're not fans of that story. So yeah,
time flies. Doesn't seem a minute since the Tyrolean Spa had the chess boys in it. All changed. Don't you know that when you play at this level, there's no ordinary venue. It's Iceland or the Philippines or Hastings or this place. So again, he's he's already looking down his nose at people who are enjoying the sights, who are going to, a spa, having fun. I'm here to play chess. So it all comes together with the refrain, "One night in Bangkok and the world's your oyster. The bars are temples, but the pearls ain't free. You'll find a god in every golden cloister, and if you're lucky, then the god's a she. I can see an angel sliding up to me." I want to focus on one line there that's going to blow most people's minds who know this song. And that's that, if you're lucky, then the god's a she. We live in a time that wants to blur the lines between genders, that can't define what a woman is. Transgenderism, is all the rage. And you go to Thailand because that is a place that has been the cutting edge, pun intended, of transgendered surgeries. The reason for that is there is a huge transgender culture there. And this goes back to before it was really something that was possible to do through surgery. It's still not really possible, but that's a whole other topic. So it was not uncommon for people to visit Thailand and want to partake of the sex trade and realize they were in the song Lola by the Kinks. Let's just put it that way. So if you're lucky, then the god's a she. So may have just blown your mind about what this song is actually about. One town's very like another when your head's down over your pieces, brother. He's not paying attention to any of this stuff. He doesn't give a flying fig. He's there to play chess. It's a drag, it's a bore. It's really such a pity to be looking at the board, not looking at the city. Wait a minute. You've seen one crowded, stinking, polluted town. You've seen them all. He really has no interest in taking in the sights.
One of the major cities of the world, Bangkok. This is like city of adventure, and he doesn't care. It's like, it's...
Tea girls, warm and sweet, Somerset up in Somerset. Manchem sweet. They're talking about a brothel, Now this is the clever line that I always got a kick out of. Get tied. You're talking to a tourist whose every move's among the purest. Tied. Thai apostrophe D. Get tied. Get it? Get it? Tied. I get my kicks above the waistline, sunshine. In other words, you're thinking with the lower head, I'm thinking with the upper head, so to speak.
Because he's super smart.
Right. And he's Murray head, too. So, I mean, double-headed, right? One night in Bangkok makes a hard man humble, not much between despair and ecstasy. One night in Bangkok and the tough guys tumble. Can't be too careful with your company. I can feel the devil walking next to me. Yeah, it can get tough, but if you're just there to play chess and you're staying where you should, you don't really have a problem. Siam's going to be the witness to the ultimate test of cerebral fitness. This grips me more than would a muddy old river or reclining Buddha. Again, he's there for the chess, not for the river and the Buddha and the crap that. Thank God I'm only watching the game, controlling it. I don't see you guys rating the kind of mate I'm contemplating. Mate, there's another, double entendre there. They're thinking mate, and he's thinking checkmate. Exactly. I'd let you watch, I would invite you, but the queens we use would not excite you. I'm not going to explain that line to you, but based on what I said earlier, you should be able to understand that pretty clearly. So you better go back to your bars, your temples, your massage parlors. Again, he's very haughty, and he is full of himself.
Did you notice? I don't know if you had a chance to watch that German. It was on a German TV station. They did live action. When he says massage parlors, I almost think he makes the in quotes mannerism. When he says
yes. That's because and again, I never actually saw the play myself. I only have the Broadway recording of it, but I've listened to it over and over and over again, which of course has the release version of this. And if you think about the release version, you can hear the inverted commas, the air quotes, your massage parlors. Yeah. That's exactly right.
It just reminds me.
Anyway, I actually way overanalyzed this song, but I do that specifically because it's been my experience since the 80s. Anytime I talk to somebody about this song, they never even knew what the words were.
No.
And they certainly didn't know what it meant in the context of the story. You really can't separate this song from the story. It makes no sense out of context, to be honest with you. But Brandon, I know you're younger than we are, but you know this song, right?
I do, yes. It's funny. We had this. What did I have? Once upon a time, I found these compilation albums of songs from the 80s, and they weren't performed by the original singers. But I heard the song for the first time on that album, and I just went, oh, "This is a fun one." And then I think I heard the original because I look for things that most people my age probably don't, and heard it, liked it, and then when I found out it was from a musical, my reaction was I did this double take, like, oh,
yes, I hear you. I hear you, dude.
It's all the guys from ABBA.
I know, right? Okay, so since you brought it up, let's pause and talk about that for a second. So people refer to, or I think actually you referred to this as we were talking about it in backstage. This is the other ABBA musical, right? Mm-hmm. Because most people, when they think about, Benny and Bjorn writing a musical, they think of Mamma Mia. This was the one they did before that. Honestly, as much as I love the music from this, and I'm sure it was a great play, it didn't do very well. And that's why most people to this day that weren't real into this stuff don't know about it. It's kind of why I'm doing this stream tonight. But Benny and Bjorn wanted to, they enjoyed this and they wanted to do more musicals. So they're like, well, we've got a whole body of music. Let's turn it into a musical. That's where Mamma Mia came from.
Right.
That may be another stream, but I just wanted to kind of share that. This is, just from a technical standpoint, a very good musical. I mean, this was, I mean, I said at the beginning of the stream that Tim Rice wanted to work with Andrew Lloyd Webber on it. I think it would have been a very, very different play. I'm thinking, like
not as good.
Like Cats or something, or I just can't imagine, a Phantom of the Opera style, chess. But
I'm thinking more Evita.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. That's a good point, Sir Torn. Yeah. I mean no, that's a good one. I'm thinking like Starlight Express and Cats. But you're right. Evita, he did Evita too. I hadn't thought about that. It could have been like Evita. Then it still would have been different, but in a way I probably would have liked too. So yeah, I get that. But yes, this did bring Benny and Bjorn into it, and honestly, let's face it. If it weren't for chess, you guys wouldn't have Mamma Mia. And I'm sorry, I've been so focused on my notes and I've been so engulfed in this chess thing, I haven't been saying hi to the chat. So I see that the Time Prophet is there. Welcome to the stream. I'm not ignoring people intentionally. It's just, I get so tunnel vision. That's kind of how I get. But yeah, so that was the big one night in Bangkok. And originally, peek behind the curtain, Aged Boomer and I were going to use One Night in Bangkok as a good old days because we were thinking about we've talked about some of our favorite musicals not musicals,
videos.
Music videos from the 80s. I had done, what are some of those when we did? I think I did,
I did Safety Dance.
Safety Dance, Total Eclipse of the Heart. Have we done Big Al yet, or is that still on hold?
Big what?
Big Al? Not Big Al, Weird Al.
We did Weird Al. No, we did Weird Al.
Sorry, Big Al.
We thought about doing another one too of his later videos, but yeah, we did the ones from the 80s. Definitely, maybe we might try the 90s next for his videos. But yeah.
Been spending most our lives living in an Amish paradise.
Oh, I remember that one.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff.
Yoda.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Yoda. Actually, no. I'm thinking. Yeah. Am I thinking? No,
Yoda was one of his early albums.
That was the 80s. I'm thinking of the one about episode 1. The one.
I remember talking about that in on your stream because I said that I had never heard the song Lola before I heard Yoda. Met him in a swamp down in Dagobah where it bubbles all the time like a giant carbonated soda. SODA soda. I had never heard Lola by the Kinks until after that. I had to go and look it up, and I was like, ooh. Kind of like what we were just talking about with this One Night in Bangkok. But, yeah. So, let me bring this back to the musical itself. In Freddie's first main solo, he takes the audience on an arrogant tour through the nightlife of the Thai capital, looking down on the culture and sex tourism he surveys, positioning himself as the superior intellectual among hedonists. The musical style and instrumentation taps into the sound of the 1980s synth pop, and it's bathed in flamboyant color and glamour with relishes in the excess and riches of the 1980s. Next song I want to talk about is Pity the Child. This is the answer to One Night in Bangkok. Much like the country during this time, while Freddie exudes confidence on the exterior, he's filled with deep internalized feelings of inadequacy. This duality comes to light in the second solo, Pity the Child, a number that displays the broken loneliness Freddie hides with his dismissive attitude. His bravado is revealed to be a cultivated shield from the pain of an absent father and neglectful mother, neither of whom appreciated his skills that had made him famous. Again, this is basically Bobby Fischer. So this is another song. If you want to go do your Google search later on and look it up on the YouTubes, Murray Head does a video of Pity the Child too, which is almost heartbreaking, to be honest with you. In contrast, Anatoly, his disillusionment with the subversiveness, drunkenness, subservience, and conformity to the Soviet Union is demonstrated in the song "Where I Want to Be." He is a top player in the game and a favored son of his country, yet he feels unfulfilled and dreads the moment when his usefulness to the state runs out. Unlike Freddie's high-energy, optimistic, pop-influenced stylings, Anatoly's is colder and more sensitive in its approach, drawing heavily on the romantic classical stylings of Tchaikovsky and Stravinsky. Typical Russian minor keys. The song holds a sense of beauty, but the game he loves, while he's also focused on the unease and consequences he could suffer if he lost. For Freddie, a loss would mean a ding for his self-confidence, while for Anatoly, if he were to lose, he very well could be killed or exiled. So rather than wait for the moment he's no longer useful to the USSR, Anatoly defects and defends his decision in the Act 1 finale anthem. Before I go on, I guess one thing that I didn't ask the panel, are you guys as familiar with the libretto as I am? Sir Torin?
Well, I after you asked me to be on, I listened to it.
Oh, okay.
I listened to both versions of it, the original recording and the Broadway recording, and
if you get a chance, check out the concept album too.
Okay, yeah.
I think it might be on YouTube. I don't know for certain.
Yeah. But yeah, so I went in and I checked it out, and it's one of the first times when people say this sounds totally different depending on sort of the localization. I'm sitting there, I'm the guy that says, "Oh, you're full of crap. I don't see any difference." I certainly saw it here. But no, I really enjoyed both. I will say that. I will probably get skewered by Deep Penzak for that statement. But
and David, if you are interested in coming on a stream sometime, please let me know. You are certainly welcome. I hadn't thought about it, but if you'd like to come join us one time, it'd be great.
But yeah, the minute I caught when I listened to there are two things. Where I Want to Be. The minute I heard it, I kept on I almost didn't get through the whole album because I just kept replaying it because I loved it so much. The other is when we were talking about a few weeks ago when I was on the panel for the whole soap opera thing, I was listening to one of the songs from the Broadway cast recording, and I'm sitting there looking at the name of one of the singers, and I'm thinking to myself, I've seen that name somewhere before.
Yeah.
And I look the actor up. Do you remember early '90s One Life to Live, the character Michael Grand?
I do.
He was that was the actor.
Yep.
He ended up playing Walter in the Broadway cast of Chess. I know him as Other Roger from Guiding Light.
Other Roger. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I know how recastings can go. Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I'm sorry, Time Prophet. I don't keep up with names. I still call that tall building in Chicago, that's still the Sears Tower as far as I'm concerned. And everyone keeps telling me it's St. Petersburg. I still call it Stalingrad. So, what do I know? And those trolley Dodgers, the Dodgers are from Brooklyn as far as I'm concerned. I don't know anything about the where they moved to. So just, he's called Age of Boomer, but I'm as much a boomer as he is, to be honest with you. Real quick, want to say hi to Logical Spock, who stopped in. And there was a comment that I'm looking for that I can't find to highlight. The Time Prophet said that my delivery is similar to Rick Beato, Beato. Check him out on YouTube. So I'm gonna need one of you in the last call, party. Help me out here and remind me later when I sober up to check out this Rick Beato guy. I got to find out if this is a compliment or a dig. I don't know. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out. Thanks so much for the heads up on that. So yeah, that does bring us to the end of Act 1. That's the anthem. The title is apropos, as musically it reflects many countries' official hymn to itself, but lyrically, Anatoly describes a devotion to something that lies beyond political boundaries and maneuvering. My land's only borders lie around my heart, he sings. In the end, Anatoly can only remain true to himself, sentiment Florence tearfully echoes after nations separate her from the man she loves. And, if this was the musical, the lights would come up, you'd all go to the bathroom and, chit chat and then come back for the next act. But, yeah, so one thing that surprised me as I was doing the research for this, because I didn't know this. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it. This is one of the ones, and see, I kind of forget that these songs. No, hold on a second. I can't type and think at the same time. There it is. So Elaine Page, right? I talked Elaine Page up and down when I was talking about when we did the watch party on Netter's Network for Cats. She is Grisbella. She is Broadway royalty, right? What I did not know is that Elaine Page played, I think it was Florence was it the West End production, Sir Torrin?
I believe so.
Okay. So she appears in a lot of these, staged videos for chess, just like, Murray Head does, One Night in Bangkok and Pity the Child and so forth. But yeah, Elaine Page, let me tell you, she is not on the Broadway version. So today was the first time I heard her singing Nobody's Side, and it's, well, I just love Elaine Page, so I was like, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It's like, I don't know. I guess it would be like if, for some of you all, like if Sarah Brightman were singing, some song that you really, really love, and you're like, oh my gosh, Sarah Brightman. That's kind of how I was. But Florence serves as a bridge between the East and the West. She's the little girl that right. Her father was telling the story at the very beginning, right? She was born in Budapest, but was raised in America due to the 1956 Soviet occupation that killed her family. She's not fully Hungarian, but not fully American either. This places her in a position where she can see the best and the worst in both. And much like Florence's duality, Anatoly and Freddie each view her as in a vastly different light. Anatoly sees Florence as an escape, someone who awakens a sense of passion in him that he hasn't felt since he was young. But while wrapped up in his love for Florence and his decision to flee the Soviet Union, he also abandons his wife and child. Freddie views Florence as someone he depends on to validate him. She's one of the only people who truly understands him, but Freddie takes her for granted then, much like his parents did, and she leaves him, just like his parents did. There's no good guys in this. It's much more complex than that. As the story advances, Freddie becomes kinder and even decides to help Anatoly train to win the World Championship, a tournament that his government wants him to throw. While the two appear to be polar opposites, chess and their internal desire to win is the thing that links them. However, despite this, neither Freddie nor Anatoly play the game for the main reason they should be, for the love of the game. Instead, they're both propelled by more external motivators. Instead of being a showcase for sportsmanship and mental discipline, chess instead becomes a game of two governments using their respective players in a larger conflict of power, humiliation, and political supremacy. It's this realization that sparks renewed love of the game and leads to Freddie and Anatoly coming together as a way to beat the people who corrupted it. So, the end game, 1989. The physical symbol of the divided Europe fell with the tearing down of the figurative Iron Curtain in the very real Berlin Wall.
Right.
In fact, hold on a second.
Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Couldn't pass that up. So this occurred thanks in part to the political communion between Reagan and Gorbachev, and a botched announcement by the German Democratic Republic that accidentally opened the borders between East and West Germany. Look into it. It's very interesting. The fall of the Berlin Wall was an accident. But a serendipitous one, as it turns out. So at this point, I actually really need to make the comment about the difference between the UK and the American versions. The musical's American incarnation was notably different in setting, lyrics, and song orders, and a completely different Act 2 from the British version. In particular, the American chess, the entire show is about one chess match, not two. Act 1 involves the first part of the match, which is held in Bangkok, Thailand, while Act 2 handles the conclusion and is set in Budapest, Hungary. Also, the incumbent champion is switched in the American version. That is Anatoly rather than Freddie, as is the winner of the Sarasovsky's Trumper tournament. So it's all backwards. Those Brits, they're just backwards. Sorry to my British viewers, I'm just playing. I'm an Anglophile. But in real life, Bobby Fischer and Boris Spavsky competed again in a historic rematch the year after the wall fell. Fischer won, but at an incredible cost. He traveled to Yugoslavia for the competition, defying George H.W. Bush's executive order imposing sanctions on the country. Fischer would never return to the United States. His country abandoned him, and he would spend the last years of his life in obscurity, descending deeper and deeper into madness. Yeah, likewise, following his loss to Fischer in 1972, Spassky started to become bitter, and the Soviets' disappointment in him led to them turning their backs on him. So, although we have two different endings to the play, real life wasn't that cool, and the players in the chess game ultimately were just pawns of their country. And that is the story of chess, my friends. Anything to add, especially Sir Torin? Did I miss anything as I was going through that you thought about as you were going through listening to the libretto today?
I think you kind of took the one thing I had and made me realize I was dead ass wrong. I had said something to the effect, listening to it, I was thinking, I guess depending on the version you listen to, the politics of the story, it's not so much downplayed. It's obviously there. But for the three characters of Florence, Freddie, and Anatoly, it's not as big to their story. As you said, they're the pawns, but everything they've got going on is more of the hardened conflict with itself, as opposed to countries at war, metaphorically.
Yep.
But I'm not sure how right I am on that, to be fair, after listening to what you said.
Yeah, I threw out a lot of things tonight that are clearly my opinion. So take nothing I said as hard and firm fact. Even the historical elements, you might want to research them yourself if you want to get an unbiased opinion. But,
I mean, I was still waiting for, after you said he was Freddie Trumper's based on Bobby Fischer, I was waiting for the anti-Semitic commentary.
Well, I kind of softened that because I did say he regressed into madness because he really did.
Well, yeah.
He was the chess world's version of Alan Moore. You know what I mean? He just went off the deep end there. And so, honestly, his stances on 9/11 and anti-Semitism stuff, the guy was nuts. So, honestly, why even bring that stuff up, Yes, Time Prophet, no. I do know that. And usually when I say England, I mean specifically England as a part of Great Britain. So if I say England, I'm probably not talking, for example, about Ryan Roger Athay, who is often a friend of the channel. He's in Wales, and that would not, necessarily include, what I'm talking about. Yep. But I do know that Americans do tend to use England and Great Britain
interchangeably.
But I was talking about the West End, so I was, kind of being a little more specific. But yeah. So I did promise Netter I will bring up, and it's probably going to be very low quality, but there is versions of the full play on YouTube that you can watch. I really love the music from this, but then again, I'm kind of a Benny and Bjorn fan. Obviously, I'm a Tim Rice fan. So I honestly feel like everything that I like about Andrew Lloyd Webber is kind of because of Tim Rice, but I'm the outlier on that, maybe.
Which version do you like better, or have you seen the British version versus the American version?
Well, again, I haven't seen both versions.
Oh,
the one I'm most familiar with is the Broadway version, the American version.
Okay.
I actually haven't listened to the British version now that I think about it. I just know from reading that the story is kind of like, I don't want to say it's reversed because it's not completely reversed, but I did not know you were half Welsh. That's pretty cool. Gosh, I don't even know how to relate to that. I guess it would be kind of like me, where my mom is Italian and my dad's a redneck. Not saying which side would be the redneck in your analogy, but my dad was a Southern Illinois hillbilly, and my mom was very northern Italian, third generation Italian, but Italian nonetheless. But I get that. So good. I would and Boomer, I would encourage you, if you enjoyed One Night in Bangkok, at least listen to the full libretto of even just the Broadway release of of Chess.
Yeah,
there are some other good songs on there too.
I was listening to some of the other tracks before the stream. I haven't listened to the whole thing yet, but I was very impressed. I feel bad. My dad would have loved this album.
Yeah,
because he was a big fan of Mamma Mia and the ABBA songs with that, so I think he would have loved this too.
There you go. And again, like I said, Pity the Child is like the other side of the coin from One Night in Bangkok. So it's almost like you're not getting the complete story if you don't at least get those two songs. Real quick, I want to say hi to Jedi Bill, who stopped by to say hi. Make sure you're subscribed to Jedi Bill, and maybe go hang out with him when you're not with us, and go to some of his karaoke streams. They're a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's all. I mean, I dominated this tonight. I know, I'm sorry, but it's because I just love this whole album so much and have read so much about it. So I had to put all my notes down, otherwise I wouldn't get everything out that I wanted to get out tonight. Is there anything that you guys wanted to contribute that I talked over or didn't give you a chance to say? I mean, if the answer is no, that's fine.
What's the best version of this to buy? I know you mentioned other versions, like there's the main concept album, but then there's also
anyone who asks me this, especially living in the U.S., I would say start with that Broadway album, simply because it's got that One Night in Bangkok that you know. That's usually the best way into an album, right? Is from the release version of a song that you already like. So you know that. Well, if I don't like any other song on here, I'll just keep playing that one track, on repeat, But, it's also good because then you get to hear Murray Head, on other tracks as well and put the connection together and whatnot. But, yeah. Oh, and JPRPH1, good to see you, my friend. I play bass. Good. I love to see musical talent. I used to play the trombone, and the reason I say used to, even though I probably could again, it's been so many years, I don't think my embouchure is up to it. I'm not in the shape that I used to be. But yeah. We're gonna have to one of these nights. You guys, we're gonna need to get back together again and do a watch party of The Music Man.
Oh, yes.
Music Man.
That is my favorite musical because I was in it for more than 6 months.
Did you ever see this? Oh, go. Sorry.
I was going to say that was my claim to professional theater, was having been in The Music Man. What were you going to say, Boomer?
Did you ever see The Simpsons homage to the Music Man episode?
Monorail.
Oh,
yeah.
And Leonard Nimoy was in it too. Remember that?
He beams up at the end. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah, and what I have not seen, this is probably going to surprise you all, is I haven't seen the Matthew Broderick version of The Music Man.
I've only ever heard the performance of 76 trombones from that.
I haven't even seen that.
It's pretty good. What really bugs me is I love Kristen Chenoweth, and so she's Marion in that production.
Oh, okay.
And I'm sitting there going, so I haven't listened to a single song of her performing the role of Marion, and I've listened to the Shirley Jones version of it. I've listened to Sutton Foster play the part because I have the cast album that she was in just recently with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
But I've not listened to Chenoweth.
Oh, yes. Now, this one I did see. So, Time Prophet brings up that Matthew Broderick did a version of The Producers with Nathan Lane. I have seen that because I love the soundtrack from it. I love their version of Till Him. But I still love the Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder version. I it makes me laugh every time. I just,
Yeah.
but the producers are always. Oh, and I just played just a couple nights ago. I played "Springtime for Hitler" from the Matthew Broderick version for Netter. She had never seen it, and I just put it up on the big screen and started playing it. She's watching and she's looking. She's going, "Is that Captain Jack?" And I'm like, "Yep, that's Captain Jack."
It's funny because when he showed up on Doctor Who and did Torchwood, I just remember thinking there were a couple of things I knew. One, I knew him from the producers,
right?
But I had actually seen him in another movie a year or so back about Cole Porter. Where he actually, him and Kevin Kline played Cole Porter. They actually did a duet of Night and Day. And Barrowman did he did Anything Goes back in the 80s. And so he knows Porter backwards and forwards.
Sure.
And it was great. I think, yeah.
I think we'll have to do a Music Man stream so I can talk about my time playing in the Music Man and some of my memories. I got some great theater stories to share with all of you guys. That'll be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll do that this summer. That might be fun.
I'm in the green room.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll bring you in. I apologize.
My computer shut off.
Mute. You're echoing for all the world.
Echo.
Thank you very much. There you
This is
go.
where you're supposed to be. I am the great and powerful Oz.
I am the great and powerful Oz.
Retro blasting.
I often feel left out of the party with the producers. The comedy of that film, minus the Springtime for Hitler. Yeah, okay, I get that. The whole Zero Mostel and Gene Wilder thing. I just, the hiding. Come in. I just, that kind of stuff just gets me laughing, and I don't know why. It's just so natural. I just. Yeah.
Retro Blasting had a very good video on Tomb Raider, Lara Croft Tomb Raider today. If you got a chance to see it, yeah.
Well, I saw it before you did.
Okay.
It's one of the benefits of Patreon membership. It was. I remember I went to the video and I left a comment before I even watched the video. I'm like, I've been waiting for this. This is awesome. This is going to be great. And really, really weird. And it was. It was really great and really, really weird.
Or sabotage their own character. It wouldn't. By doing that, that was never just.
I know that's totally in your wheelhouse, Boomer, because you're the gamer.
Check out his video. I'm not going to say anything. You should watch.
You're the gamer in this pub, and
we can't have nice things. I don't even know if whoever owns it knows what they're going to do with Lara Croft now. Just like Michael, I had no idea that this magazine existed. I didn't either.
When I saw the clips of him preparing to do this, I knew it existed, and I'm like, okay, I can kind of see that. Maybe it's kind of like those Marvel swimsuit issues that they did, which was kind of kitschy, kind of cute. Oh, this is a whole other level. This is just weird. Just weird. Check it out. It's a good video. Go give it a thumbs up, because I know he put a lot of work into it. So definitely deserves the thumbs up. Funny thing is that they were, that it's the whole financial thing, right? Where, they've got a scam going, but it all depends on the thing flopping.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yep.
What were you
I'm sorry.
say?
Mel Brooks actually based that off of a theatrical producer he knew.
Doesn't surprise me. Does not surprise me.
Because he said, there was this, when he was started, getting into acting, he met this producer who was who'd bring these little old ladies into his office, and he'd make love to them, and they'd pay for his shows. And it was just, he said it was pathetic, but at the same time, it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen.
Well, and Mel Brooks has this way of making things, just that funny. One of the funny things, as I was saying, as I was playing that clip from the John Barrowman version, is there's that part in Springtime for Hitler where the character comes out. Originally in the Zero Mostel version, it was Mel Brooks himself. In this one, it was another actor lip syncing Mel Brooks. Don't be stupid, be a smarty. Come and join the Nazi party. Right? Okay. Which is hysterical, right? But what was so funny was sitting there watching it with Netter, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, I always thought that was Mel Brooks." And I'm like, it was. It's not his face, but it's still him. It's just, that was just great. But yeah. And you're not wrong, Troy. I usually am, so it's nice when people tell me I'm not. Very much in the minority on the producers, and I know I'm the lost ball in the tall weeds on that. No, that's fine. I mean, you can't be, I mean, you can't like everything, right? If you did, hell, the way we are, we'd friggin' go broke. I mean, jeez. This is what I say about toy collecting. It's like, no, I am not getting those 12-inch action figures, and I'm not getting those Micro Machines. I started with those 3 3/4-inch action figures, and that's all I'm getting. Because I want them all. Pokemon? No, I'm sorry.
Gotta catch them all.
Well, that's Netter's thing. Pokemon is Netter's thing.
You like? I didn't know Netter liked Pokemon.
Well, it was when you started.
Did she do the Pokemon Go on the phone?
Mm-mm.
No, I tried it once. It told me there was one in my kitchen, and I'm like, why is there a Pokemon in my kitchen? And then it wouldn't let me catch the stupid thing.
Somebody get this fucker out of my house.
Right?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, no. So, but anyway, yeah, we'll definitely have to do a watch party of I almost said of 76 trombones, of the Music Man, because that's just... Oh, Robert Preston and Shirley Jones. Shirley Jones, oh my gosh. Yeah. But, yeah. So, that's the shtick for tonight. We're actually going to probably start wrapping this up a little bit early, because... unless what? You go ahead.
No, you're going to say something. I'm
not going to... you. Well, no, I was starting to wrap up the show, so by all means, jump in.
Well, I'm just saying, never mind. I don't know. I don't want to hijack the stream.
No, go ahead. We've got another 20 minutes of the show that's worth hijacking.
I'm sorry, but this Dial of Destiny review. And I was thinking about even saying for Sunday, but we're doing the rewatch of Maze of the Monster Sunday, so maybe we should talk about it now. You realize that this movie costs $300 million. It's one of the most expensive movies ever made.
It's not Kathleen Kennedy's money. What does she care?
It premiered at Cannes, and it's getting trashed by the critics.
Yep. So that tells me that not
and it
only...
comes out June 30th, so that's a lot of time to build up for people for bad word of mouth to spread before this thing comes out.
When you hear the Hollywood elite start talking about something, they're not telling you whether it's good or not. They're telling you what their opinion of the players involved is. So when you have Variety and all the trades going, Kathleen Kennedy is the best thing ever, and those Star Wars trilogies are wonderful, and blah 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 blah, and Rey and Kylo Ren, and yeah. That is Kathleen Kennedy's our friend. We got to build her up. Disney's the big guy on the block. We got to be in good with them. When you start hearing stuff like this, Kathleen Kennedy's on the outs. Disney's going belly up. They're out.
The rats no are longer the sinking ship. Is that what this is?
Pretty much.
Oh my word!
That's a great way of putting it. Yeah.
Because some of the sites, you could tell they're like shill type.
Indiana Jones and the non-starter. Yeah, exactly. To me, the Dial of Destiny is the what's his name? I almost said David Pensack. No, not you, David. The activist investor. On the that wants to get on the Disney board. I picture him picking up a rotary phone to call Iger. That's the the dial of destiny, calling him to say, I want on the board. Things are going to change. That's the dial of destiny, in my opinion. But
more expensive than the new Mission Impossible by $10 million. Yeah, this is not good.
I keep going back to with Indiana Jones. Ever since I saw that video on Retroblasting about the whole idea that Indiana Jones was really meant to be a serialized thing. It wasn't meant to be Harrison Ford forever. It was supposed to be Harrison Ford maybe a couple times, and then you just recast him with somebody else, and you just keep the story going.
Yeah.
Just like the the Republic serials, back in the golden age of Hollywood and whatnot. You go on Saturdays and you'd see Superman, or you'd see Flash Gordon, or whatever. You'd see Indiana Jones, and every couple of years you'd put out a new Indiana Jones, and it's a different actor, and it doesn't. You know who it is because he's got the fedora and the jacket and the whip and the stuff, and it's him.
The funny thing was, Kathleen Kennedy said she wants to treat Star Wars like a James Bond style thing, where they release one every few years or so, like a James Bond style series. I'm thinking, wait, that's not Star Wars. That's Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
that's how you should have been treating Indiana Jones. I don't.
That's actually a great. Actually, I think Michael might have made that.
He probably did. Yeah, he did a video on that a while back.
Because if they had treated Indiana Jones like James Bond, after the actor's done and he's going on to other things, okay, we get another actor. Who's going to be the next Indiana Jones? But that ship kind of sailed with. I would have said it sailed with the Crystal Skull, but
people are saying Crystal Skull's better than this.
Yeah, but leave it to somebody who knows the franchise better. Michael ruins it for me by pointing out that The Last Crusade really is the one that ruins it. As good a movie as it was, it's the one that kind of solidifies the arc of it has to be Harrison Ford. With Raiders,
they have them right off into the sunset, I guess. So they don't
exactly, yeah. They made it into right, but with Raiders and the Lost. What was it? What was the second movie that I always forget?
Temple of Doom.
Yeah, I just want to call it Kali Ma, but yeah, Temple of Doom. Those two stand alone just fine.
Yeah, they are. They're these nice standalone features. I like Temple of Doom a lot. That's the
and you could pulled in at the time. You could have pulled in Brandon Fraser to take over as Indiana Jones. That would have been my casting at the time.
Yeah, well, they could have done a lot of things. I've argued I thought Hugh Jackman could have made a good Indiana Jones too at some point, but I guess he's getting up there.
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah,
I'm just thinking now. I just don't.
An Indiana Jones that could sing.
Well,
not that we need that.
No, but I don't understand who over at Lucasfilm okayed this thing to be shown at Cannes well over a month before it releases. Unless they were thinking it was going to get a standing ovation and people were going to say how great it was.
Don't get me
the buzz for people to go see it.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not like Tom Connors, and I'm not
neither am I.
WDW Pro. I don't know anybody that works with those people, but my guess in the cave, looking at the shadows on the wall, my guess would be that this was a Kathleen Kennedy thinking who the hell she is, and she wants to show off to her friends. And it's that embarrassment of, oh, you're not my friends, and I didn't do as good as I think.
Oh, no.
A lot of people are pointing out she had a triple whammy that day, right? She goes to Cannes, and then she gets, lukewarm reception there. Then the trades start ripping into Indiana Jones and saying it sucks. So it's already doing badly just from the Hollywood people. Plus the news that Willow is being pulled off of Disney D-.
Yes.
On the same day. I guess
we're not getting that season 2, like the guy said that was going to happen, even despite it.
And the news that the Star Cruiser is being shut down. All of it in one day. There you go, Kathleen. Congratulations. Now go get my coffee. Oh, this is interesting. This I hadn't heard. I have heard the CGI is worse than Quantumania. Yeah, I get blaming it on Chapek because, he was the guy in charge at the time. But was he really in charge? Really? And it was really Alonso who's really at fault for all of this shit. I mean, it's too late now. She's already been fired, but, you know. It's mismanagement throughout the whole corporate structure. I mean, you could point to Kathleen Kennedy, but it's Kathleen Kennedy, it's Iger, it was Chapek, it was Alonso. You know, on the Marvel side, it's what's his name, Feige. You know, these people are all morons that only have jobs because they schmooze. It's a political game. It has nothing to do with merit. It has nothing to do with management or you know, being able to put out a good product that makes money. It's about rearranging the cookies on the plate to make it look like more. You know, that's what it really is. You know, and then you see the media spinning it. You know, when they start talking about this stuff going on in Florida, it's like, you people have no friggin' clue what's actually going on here. You don't understand the laws that are involved here. You know, this goes way beyond. All you can see is your narrow political view. You hate DeSantis, and so you think it all has to do with Republican versus woke. That's not what this is about. This is a business situation, a political business situation that goes back, you know, more than 40 years. And it's way past due to be happening. And this isn't just DeSantis. This is shock, I know, when we're talking politics. But this is a governor who is actually representing his constituents. He is there because he was voted in by people that want him to do what he's doing. I mean, you know, Boomer, you're the one on the panel that lives in Florida. What's the opinion of the average person about this particular situation and Disney?
Well, like any state, you're gonna have varied minds, opinions on this. But no, I mean, as far as the situation, I mean, I myself and people, they didn't think. I think the situation was misrepresented in the media as far as that bill went. It was just mainly to keep I think, you know, keep kids safe. Of course, other people, it's kind of snowballed now, though.
Yeah.
So it's
gonna
like,
get
it's
worse.
It's like they pushed the governor, so now he's doing more.
And
stuff
if you know, there's a lot of channels that I recommend following. You know, I always mention Midnight's Edge. I mention Valiant Renegade and WDW Pro, but the one to really follow, if you want true insight to the legal aspects here, not the spin, not the BS, what is actually at stake legally speaking, what's going to be happening in the courts, the Legal Mindset. Legal Mindset is the one who knows this stuff. He just happened to luck out, and this was an area that he's worked in. He knows this area of law really, really well. Michael has a great insight here. Florida is an amazing case study in what happens when a state allows a corporation 60 years ago a pile of sweetheart deals that painted the state entire economy into a precarious corner. Yeah, so I was talking about this a little bit on Netter's stream the other night, and on Boomer's stream last Sunday, talking about this whole situation with the and behind the scenes. You know, Netter said to me, because she doesn't follow it the way I do, what's this whole Reedy Creek thing? And, you know, I was kind of breaking it down, you know, in like the Cliff's Notes version. But basically what it comes down to is they created this district that gave them all kinds of special perks, especially in terms of taxation, on the assumption, on the belief, the contract with the state was that they were going to turn it into a community. They were trying to do this experimental community of the future. That's what Epcot was originally meant to be. And sure, it would have probably been 99% people that worked for Disney, you know, living there. You know, it was meant to be a corporate, you know, community. but it was an experiment, and they were going to do it, and it was going to bring in, revenue because you'd have people living and working there, and so on and so forth, and so it was meant to be a good thing. That is not what happened. That is not what happened. They decided when Walt died, okay, yeah, forget this whole city thing. That's stupid. Let's just expand the park. But in order to keep the bonds, we got to keep people living there. So let's put up some trailers there, and some of the corporate people can have that as a place to crash if they're staying late or meet up with their girlfriends or whatever. That kind of stuff. That's what.
That happens.
I'm just guessing. But yeah, and so Mikey, the Mexican Iron Man, was talking about it with Legal Mindset, and he pointed out a very interesting tax element to this. 60 years of bonds based on a specific taxation agreement that you have not been living up to, and it's demonstrable, that could come with incredible back taxes and penalties, and someone could go to jail about this. This is some heavy duty stuff. So they can keep. Sorry, I'm echoing there on.
I thought it was somebody else chiming in.
No, yeah. At first, I did too. I guess I was interrupting myself. But yeah, if the media keeps going after DeSantis and saying, "Oh, he's making this personal," he can make it a whole lot worse. There's a whole lot. We're talking billions of dollars in back taxes they could end up paying if he decides to go this route. I mean, he's actually been playing with kid gloves. He's actually been nice about this.
300 million. Go ahead. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
What would be a great idea? Let's let Disney and the Church of Scientology legislate themselves. Right? Yeah, this is and eventually the government realizes that somebody got a little bit too big for their britches and needs to be slapped down. And let's for all their bitching, all the other companies, Universal, all the other districts around them, all the other corporate districts have been for years. Can we get the deal that Disney has? No. So when Disney gets it taken away, everyone else is going, good, finally, for fuck's sake. The only people that are on Disney's side on this, it's not the Florida residents. The only Florida residents that I've encountered that are on Disney's side are the ones that think they're going to get stuck for some kind of taxes because of the bullshit that the uninformed media has been putting out. That is not the case. The only one that could possibly be on the hook for this is Disney. And in a big, big way. And if Disney decided to pack up their park and leave, yeah, good luck with that. Try to do that, Disney. But if they decided to, Florida would be okay. They're not as big a part of the industry in Florida as they think they are, and as most people think they are. Now that Universal's getting bigger and bigger, there's other parks. When was the last time you went to Busch Gardens there, Age of Boomer? I loved that place.
It's been a few years, but
yeah.
Again, that's Anheuser-Busch.
That's true. That's true. What about you still got SeaWorld there?
Yeah, that's not bad. I think they made him get rid of the whale, though.
Oh, yeah. I'm not surprised about that. But yeah. I mean, and there are bigger companies there, too. You got all the cruise lines going out of Florida. I mean,
There's
Disney's big, but they're not as big as they think they are.
There's plenty to do in Florida besides Disney. Even if you didn't even want to do the parks, there's still plenty to do in Florida. Like you said, I mentioned Cape Canaveral. Remember that? You said you went there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember. Was it called Cape Kennedy when I was there?
I don't know. We'll see how this Dial of Destiny does at the box office.
Yeah, I expect it to crash. But I hear everybody now, just like everything else, every time something fucks up for Lucasfilm, you always have the YouTubers coming out saying, "Oh, this is it. This is going to be the Unforgiven Kennedy."
No.
None of them are saying that now. They're all going, this should be the end for Kathleen Kennedy, but who the fuck knows at this point?
No,
you know,
just give her another $2 billion to spend on Star Wars projects. I don't.
Well,
get
the
it.
rumor that I'm hearing is that all the money that's going into the Acolyte, it's her own money. She's propping it up herself.
What?
Yeah, it's not coming from Disney. Conversations that she's having.
Wait a minute!
With
It's a Disney Plus series. It goes straight to streaming. There's not even a video release, right?
We'll see if it happens.
Oh,
I don't know.
How does she make money off of that?
I've heard rumors on both sides of it, but honestly, if they're pulling Willow off of Disney Plus, you know, I have to believe, especially if when Dial of Destiny releases and it tanks, and I'm sorry guys, it's gonna friggin' tank. You know, if the Uka Chaka movie, the Marvel one,
the Marvels.
No, not Marvel. Guardians of the Galaxy. Thank you. Yeah. Uka Chaka, Uka Chaka.
I speak Troy.
Yeah, Netter speaks Troy. So that's why she's here. She's here to interpret for me when I get drunk enough to not be able to communicate otherwise. See, if Guardians of the Galaxy is just doing mediocre, they don't have anything in the pipeline.
Little Mermaid coming out in a few weeks.
Oh, that's. I'm gonna get popcorn for that and just watch Rotten Tomatoes on that one.
Okay.
Retro Blasting, the channel that never said Kennedy would be fired. The channel you can trust even if you're mad at me. Honestly, oh gosh, I was just that made me think about. There's a video that Michael has on his channel called what is it, like Kathleen Kennedy and the Firehouse of, I don't remember. I just remember the thumbnail. I remember that video from like a year or two ago. And he's right. You know, he calls it the way he sees it. He's like me. Look, I tell you guys, I'll share with you the rumors that other YouTubers have said and tell you flat out, I don't know. I haven't got the foggiest clue. I just know what Drunk 3PO said and Midnight's Edge said and, you know, WDW Pro. I know what they said, you know? And if they have sources, they have sources. What the fuck do I know? All I can tell you is I'm sitting here and I see this in the news, and I hear this on the social media, and everyone's ripping on Kathleen Kennedy. Everyone. I don't hear anyone supporting her now. The trades aren't supporting her, nobody. This is different from what I've seen before. But again, every time I think, okay, this is such a fuck up, they got to get rid of her. Nope. She just does something else. So I happen to be of the mind that I really think that we just got to treat Star Wars as a dead franchise. I don't believe it's truly dead. 20, 30 years from now, somebody might resurrect it, but it sure as fuck ain't going to be Disney. Sure as fuck ain't going to be Kathleen Kennedy. And it sure as fuck ain't going to be Filoni. Sorry, folks. Filoni's a hack piece of shit. He wrote some great cartoon stories. He wrote some good fan fiction. The kind of stuff I would have enjoyed when I was playing the Star Wars role-playing game. It's not real Star Wars. It's just not. But that's just me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be so negative, but that's this just reality. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. You know, I just got to tell it the way it is.
So we'll keep an eye on it in the coming weeks.
I'm looking forward to, Ghostbusters. That's the franchise that's, turned itself around in a way that none of these others have. So,
Didn't know if Satoran had any comments on this or if I guess we're wrapping up now, but maybe he wants to say something on it.
I have no dog in this fight anymore. I've given up on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good point. She did imply that she had a special, affinity for Indy because of that. For fuck's sake, she was one of the dancers in the second Indy movie.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't watch that scene the same way. I loved watching Kate Capshaw sing
Anything Goes.
Anything Goes in, what was it, she's singing it in Mandarin or something?
I think so, yeah.
But Yeah, then I find out Kathleen Kennedy's one of the background dancers. Like,
No, is apparently a skunk let something loose somewhere in
Yeah.
your house because I can smell it down here in our family room.
We don't normally smell skunk inside of our house. It's got to be pretty darn close. That's amazing. Now we're gonna tank and making her look extra bad. Yeah. See, this is the thing. You know, adages and folk wisdom exists for a reason, right? Proverbs like pride goeth before a fall, right? The bigger they are, the harder they fall, right? Well, that's Kathleen Kennedy. I keep saying, and people on the interwebs just want to keep arguing with me. I keep saying, look, there's no such thing as too big to fail. There is no such thing as too big to fail. Right?
Right.
I've seen it happen too many times. You know, you go to see the movie 2001, right? And that space plane that's taking tourists to the space station or whatever. What was the airline that they were on?
Pan Am?
It was Pan Am. Because they honestly believe that in the year 2001, they would be still the biggest airline. Guess what? No Pan Am anymore.
Well, they also believe the Soviet Union would still be around too.
That's the other thing. Countries are not too big to fail. And guess what? The U.S. is not too big to fail either. Get your heads out of your asses, voters. Mm-hmm. Just saying. I'm just saying. But, yeah. Tim Hayes is bringing up Laser Pants. Was pretty disgusted by seeing KK as a dancing girl. Everybody was. Once they realized that's who that was, no.
How's that again, dear?
No, go. You know, she yells at me about drinking, but she has so much fun with me when I'm drunk. It's like the Pillsbury Doughboy. Anyway, so let's look at the coming week. Sir Torin, what have you got coming up in the next week? Anything? Are we going to start seeing some comment on that channel of yours?
I'm thinking about a possible video. There's this period in wrestling that's known as the New Generation that I wanted to kind of take the main event scene and kind of reimagine it in my own image, or at least imagine it as I would have done it had I been a part of one of the companies at the time.
Oh, okay. Kind of like we're doing with the DC Universe on MeWe.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh. I'm with you on that. Okay. All right. Well, good. That's something to look forward to. I really look forward to seeing content on your channel because you got some great insights, and I think you could put out some really good stuff. But tomorrow night we will be over on Big Al Presents for Big Al Presents Films with Friends. We will be watching The Iron Giant from 1999. Again, as usual with our watch parties, I will be hosting The Iron Giant off platform, and Big Al will provide the link in the chat so you can watch along with us. That's 9 Central, 10 Eastern over on Big Al Presents, and there's the link right to the stream. Then Sunday, Deleted Scenes, if you could drop the specific link for your unscripted, that would be great, because I haven't updated my notes yet, and all I know is it's episode 14. But that is 7 Central, 10 Eastern on Deleted Scenes. And if you are not subscribed to Deleted Scenes, please give him a sub. He is the hardest working blue wrench in the YouTube sphere. And he's got some great content and great insight into movies and entertainment and pop culture, and you should really check it out, especially because his unscripted is the official lead-in to some other show on Sunday.
Geeky Geezers.
Yeah, Geeky Geezers, where ordinarily we would bring you the week's geeky news and insights of what's happened during the week, and possibly with a little bit of a different slant than some of the other YouTube channels. But this week we're going to have a special presentation, aren't we?
Because it is my birthday, and I don't like to
you
work
old
on my
fart
birthday.
boomer.
Oh, stop. Anyway, but we're gonna do a rewatch. A watch party. You can join with us. I suppose you'll have a
again, same thing. I will host it on Cosme, and we'll provide the link and everything.
But think of it as we usually do a good old days before we get into the news. Think of this almost as an extended good old days.
One whole episode of the good old days,
which is going to be about,
I'm not sure how good these good old days are.
Well, you could talk about maybe how the response to this thing, but it's going to be a nostalgia trip. It'll be Mazes and Monsters, the made-for-TV movie.
Those of you that are Tom Hanks fans ought to really, really like this. Right?
Yeah,
Robbie Benson, the voice of Beast. So.
There you go. We're gonna be doing a rewatch of Mazes and Monsters, the Moral Panic.
There's blood
TV
on my
movie.
knife.
Yes, it attacks Dungeons and Dragons. So of course it's called Mazes and Monsters in this, but you get the gist of it. So we'll do a rewatch of that.
It's Agent Boomer's channel. He picked it, not me. Don't blame me.
It was
guys.
either that or Bad Ronald, but I figured you'd be able to do more commentary on the Mazes.
Yeah, I definitely can. I know. So. I've lit as much as I'll rip on this. I do have the DVD sitting on my shelf right there.
So this will be a fun little watch.
Yeah.
And that brings us. Actually, before that, that brings us to Monday. Anything going on Monday?
I don't know. Not that I'm aware of.
Nothing Tuesday this week with Matchstick. Wednesday, I will be on with Deleted Scenes. We're going to be doing a rewatch. No, well, actually, with Birdman, but Deleted Scenes will be our guest.
Sure.
We're doing a rewatch of the classic superhero movie Superman 4.
I have on my notes that sometime this year I want to do a watch party of a fan edit of Superman 3 and 4.
That'll be good.
I'm thinking about trying to pull in either Tom Connors or Greg from Fanzine. I think that would be a good fit. And it's one that I'm pretty sure most everyone hasn't seen. Not that bad. I believe it's actually called Superman Redeemed or something like that.
Well, we're gonna do the original cut of Superman 4 on Wednesday, and we're almost getting to an argument last stream. I will defend elements of Superman 3.
Oh, sure, me too.
There's good stuff in Superman 3. There's bad stuff too, and I'm not going to say it comes together at the end, but there was good stuff.
Did you read
3.
the DC Comics adaptation of it?
I should look for that. Is it better?
It is. It is. Because it focuses on the good elements and downplays the goofy elements.
That's good.
And it kind of did that with Superman 3 as well.
Okay. Well, I'll look for both. All right. Yeah. They're online somewhere.
And you should be able to find you can probably find it online, but there's reprints and whatnot.
Sure.
So
it'd be interesting. They did a reprint that had all 4 of the adaptations in one volume. That would be interesting.
They may have done. I don't know. I know they did for Batman.
Interesting. And that brings us to Thursday.
Thursday on Netter's Network. What's going on Thursday, Netter of Netter's Network? And
I have a special guest.
Well, they're all special.
Yes, they are. But this week's special one is Six.
Yes, you know her as the girl behind the scenes on Midnight's Edge. She is awesome, and she is also a huge Star Wars fan. And next Thursday is the 25th, which is the real Star Wars Day, the anniversary of the release of the original Star Wars.
And this 6 has nothing to do with the Cell Block Tango.
6 squish, yeah. Check out Netter's Network's rewatch of Chicago that we did a couple days back, last week actually. But yeah, so we'll be talking with 6 next week Thursday on Netter's Network. Probably talking a lot of Star Wars. getting the female perspective. I mean, if I'm allowed to, define female in this, I think they both identify as women, so I think we should be okay. I don't think I've offended anybody. But then that brings us, because this is the anniversary week of Star Wars, the real anniversary week of Star Wars. I decided that next week for Last Call, and again, I don't usually do watch parties on this channel, but every now and again I feel the need to do so. And I think for Star Wars next week we will be doing a watch party of the original Star Wars as released in the theaters when it was first released. So no Episode 4, no A New Hope, Han shot only, no Jabba the Hutt.
And it's still getting squashed.
And again, because it's not an easy thing to find, I will be providing it for you so you can watch along with us. Do I have the letterbox version? I don't remember if it's letterbox edition. I know it's a DVD transfer from the Laserdisc.
Yes, it'll be letterbox.
So it is letterbox.
Don't know if it'll be anamorphic or not, but we'll make do. Okay. It is letterbox though.
Because I got to be honest with you, as much as I love the original version, I do tend to watch the special editions more often just because they're more easily accessible.
Yeah, they are.
But yeah, so we will be, and I will be talking about some of the differences. Some of them are subtle. I mean, I mentioned the obvious ones, the differences in the opening crawl. There was no Episode 4. There was no A New Hope. We joke about Han shot only. He shot only because he's the one that survived. The other guy didn't get a shot off, otherwise Han would be dead too. But if we are intellectually honest in breaking down that scene, the way it was originally shown, it was ambiguous. And it should have been, because Han Solo was an ambiguous character. His morality was ambiguous. It was meant to be, But I'm still going to defend when someone says, when he says, over my dead body, that's the idea. I'm sorry, that's a death threat.
Yes.
That's self-defense, my friend. And he's holding a gun on him.
Yes.
It's not like, he was reaching for a gun. He had a gun literally trained on him. So, but George, he got cold feet about that. Why not? Steven Spielberg did too with E.T. He just realized how he'd screwed up and backed off of it. So, anyway, and that is the week in review. So, that's the last I got. Sir Torin, any last words that you want to share with the stream before we end?
No, I don't have anything.
I really super appreciate you being here, my friend. You are a kindred spirit when it comes to musical theater. There aren't a lot of straight guys that I can talk to that are into musical theater, if you know what I mean. But
oh no, I know exactly what you mean.
right, exactly. Fair enough. Netter?
Well, you know what I always say. We can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it's so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat. You're dropping your comments, your questions, your trivia, just being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles and miles, or in continents in some cases. It feels like we're all just hanging out in the same room together, enjoying each other's company, having a great time. And you're not just our friends. You're our family. We love you guys. We appreciate you being here and taking time out of your day to just hang out with us. I mean, you could be doing anything else, but you chose to be here with us.
A lot of other channels went live tonight.
Exactly.
So I appreciate you being here, guys.
Thank you so much for being here, and we will definitely catch you next time.
And on the heels of that family thing, my brother, Agent Boomer. Any last thoughts?
No, this was.
Are you back in your house yet?
No, not yet.
Got an ETA on that?
We're working on it. Shit. It's a slow process, but no, it's been a no. This was a good stream. I'll definitely check out the full version of Chess. Listen to it front to back.
Good. All right, that's all I got, guys. Thanks again so much. Michael, Retro Blasting, you always encourage the hell out of me when you stop by and drop the chats. You're good people. And I hope to see you back on the channel real soon. And everybody else, gosh, it is great hanging out with you almost every week. And when you're not in the stream, I totally miss you. So when you come back after a while, it just encourages me. So thanks, everybody. Take care. Have a great weekend. That's what this is all about. And hope to see you on the next one. Take care.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.